4 competitors think they have what it takes to be the chopped champion.
I've never given up in my life. I've come a long way to get here.
I've been doing this since I was born.
It's daunting because you don't have time to think. You just have time to do.
I'm freaking out.
If your dish doesn't cut it, you will not move on to the next round. You will be chopped.
And it really was very unappetizing.
He was going to ride in on the creativity horse a little too long, but you have to execute with flavor.
You ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
There are 3 rounds: appetizer, entree, and dessert. Each round is timed. When the clock runs out, our judges will critique your dishes on presentation, taste, and also creativity. Please open your baskets. And we have oysters, clementines, Chinese okra, French dressing. Time starts now.
20 minutes, man. I gotta go, go, go. I'm throwing my oysters in the oven. I'm gonna have baked oysters with a mignonette sauce. A mignonette is like a vinaigrette with crushed peppercorns in it. It's a very classical French oyster preparation.
I'm going to mix oysters into sofrito, which is the base of all Latin cooking. I put orange pepper, onions, garlic, and capers, and get it in the pan, get it cooked. I haven't opened an oyster in 5 or 6 years.
Growing up in the catering business, I've opened a few oysters. My plan is a Chinese okra oyster grilled flatbread. I'm gonna saute the Chinese okra with onions and add the clementine juice to that.
The best way to prepare an oyster is to fry it. I want the crispy texture that ties into my Caribbean and Southern background. The Chinese okra is nothing like the regular okra. It's just really rough. I decided, let me slice it thinly. I think I can toss a fresh salad.
I cut off the skin inside. It's really spongy, so I'm gonna chop it up and throw it in my mignonette sauce so it can soak up flavor. So I zest my clementines. I add the French dressing that gives just enough of a bite to cut through the fishiness of the oysters.
I'm going to rub French dressing on the flatbread just to give that underlying condiment kick.
10, 9.
I see the Chinese okra, and then I said, oh my God, it's gotta get on the plate. I just chunked it in 4 pieces.
3, 2, 1. Time's up. Please step back.
When I looked down at my plate, I realized I hadn't used the French dressing, and there aren't any clementines on 2 of the dishes.
Chef Wayne, please tell the judges what you made.
I made a pan-fried oyster with a vinaigrette of French dressing and white wine vinegar with Chinese okra.
Next, Chef Rosalind.
My dish is Spanish oysters with orange and a little Chinese okra.
Next up, Chef Adam.
What I've made for you is a Chinese okra oyster grilled flatbread.
And Chef Sean.
What I've made for you today is baked oysters with a clementine Chinese okra mignonette with a little bit of arugula salad.
So, whose dish is on the chopping block? Chef Rosalind, you've been chopped.
Chef Rosalind, unfortunately, your dish had quite a many missteps. We just didn't feel that you really coaxed any flavor with the Chinese okra. Unfortunately, there was no French dressing. So in essence, what we were judging was just the oyster, which was delicious, but it wasn't enough to carry you through the next round.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks for being with us. Please open those baskets. And the mandatory ingredients for the main course: duck breast, green tea, adzuki beans, Brussels sprouts. Time starts now.
Got to get flavor into it as fast as I can. I think marinade, I add star anise, cinnamon, clove, lemons, a little red wine. I put the duck breast in the marinade. Brussels sprouts are my favorite vegetable. Know exactly what to do with them. I'm making Brussels sprouts 2 ways: grilled and roasted.
My idea was to make a marinade to really accent the meat. I'm using cayenne, ginger, curry, a little bit of orange liqueur.
I'm going to make a seared duck breast, so I'm trying to keep it simple. The Brussels sprouts, breaking all the leaves off, and then I'm gonna cook them in duck fat.
I'm planning to make the duck 2 ways. I'm doing a caramelized duck breast and also smoked duck breast. Here's the trick, here's the trick. I'm gonna take that chopped duck with the green tea, put a bowl over it, and smoke that chopped duck.
I have to use my beans. I start feeling them, and they're hard. I gotta soften them up. The first thing that comes to my mind is make a cake. Get a little flour, egg, caraway seeds, can puree it to kind of get a nice consistency. And I cook them in the duck fat to get them crispy. I put the green tea into the food processor. I add some brioche loaf to kind of make a nice crunchy topping for the mushy bean cake.
After I sear the duck, I know that I have to finish it in the oven. The zucchini beans, they are a little on the tough side, so I cook it down with onion, ginger, and the garlic, and then I'm going to puree them. I add duck fat and olive oil to loosen it up a bit so that it becomes smoother.
I'm making duck ragu. I sauteed onions, the beans, and add chopped duck. The beans are a little hard, but I let them play like that. I let it ride.
10, 9, 8,
8, 7, 6. Sauce, finger, spoon.
3, 2, 1. Time's up. Chef Adam, what'd you make?
This is a caramelized duck breast with a tea-smoked azuki bean Brussels sprout ragu, served with grilled half Brussels sprouts.
Chef Sean.
What I made today is a seared duck breast, an adzuki bean cake with a green tea persillade and Brussels sprout greens.
Chef Wayne.
I made a pan-roasted duck with infused green tea emulsion with sauteed Brussels sprouts and a puree of azuki beans.
So, whose dish is on the chopping block? Chef Sean, you've been chopped. Judges?
Sean, the duck was cooked well, but the seasoning wasn't there. The azuki beans, the cake, it was dry, it was crumbly. I'm sorry, but we just couldn't move you forward based upon those flaws. But thank you very much.
And in your desserts, you must use Meyer lemons, cottage cheese, passion fruit, soba noodles. Once again, 30 minutes, starting now.
I see all these foreign items. I think, what am I gonna do with this? I'm making pudding made from cottage cheese, soba noodles, in Meyer lemon zest.
I'm thinking faux ice cream. I get mascarpone cheese, confectioner sugar, mixed with the cottage cheese. There's no way I'm losing this.
Put it into a food processor, along with the soba noodles. Pulse it so that the soba noodles still have some integrity to mimic rice, and bake them off.
The cheese mixture, that goes into my ring mold. I'm thinking it will firm up and texturally be like ice cream. And set that in the blast chiller. Then I immediately make a simple syrup using passion fruit, sugar, water, cinnamon. I'm gonna poach the noodles in the simple syrup to really get the flavor into the soba noodles.
I want to have something as an accompaniment to the noodle pudding. I'm going to do a whipped sour cream with basil, lemon zest, rum, sugar.
I take the poached soba noodles, put that mixture into the caramel, and lay that onto a sheet pan and put it to the blast chiller.
I'm going to use my lemon juice, passion fruit, sugar, some rum. It gives a nice highlight to different desserts.
5 minutes left, chefs.
When I take the puddings out of the oven, I think, thank God, they're done. But I'm not really pleased with the way they're looking. I'm going to have to put something on top to cover up that rough look. So I'm thinking that it's best that I turn the passion fruit sauce into a glaze. I wanted to give it a little caramelized color on the puddings. Stakes are too high here. This thing has got to be perfect.
My soba noodles are still soggy. My brittles not brittled. It didn't work.
And 10, 9, 8, 7,
And 5, 4, scoop with bare hand.
3, 2, 1. Time's up. Please step back. Chef Wayne, how'd that work out for you?
Worked out pretty well, I think. I was able to make a soba noodle pudding with a cottage cheese, mint, Meyer lemon zest, and I served it with a basil sweet and sour cream.
Chef Adam.
It is a Meyer lemon mascarpone cottage cheese faux ice cream with a soba noodle caramel brittle, passion fruit sauce, and a whipped cream.
Chef Adam, you've been chopped. Judges.
Chef Adam, creativity in your dishes was amazing. But in your first course, the raw dough and the topping together didn't create what you were looking for. And your dessert, the soba, was not executed well.
So thank you for this opportunity. Congratulations.
Thanks, baby. Oh, I don't believe this. I don't believe it.
And that means, Chef Wayne, that you are the chopped champion. And the biggest problem you have right now is to figure out what to do with $10,000. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.